Hello, 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 ladies and gents. Welcome to this video. My name is Taylor Ventured, and very simply, we're going to talk about how to like reading. I hated reading for a long time. My mother was shocked when I started reading at 19 years old, and she couldn't believe it. So over the years, now I'm 23 or 24 years old. I'm starting to forget, and I've read at least a couple hundred books, if not a few hundred. There's probably only 150 on the shelf behind me, but I'm going to go through 6 things practical things that will help you like reading. So number 1, let me just go through all these in order real quick. What are you optimizing for? Eliminate portals of distraction, time block, or inspiration. Build the habit and start small. Always remember number 1, and read somewhere comfy. So let's go through number 1. What are you optimizing for? This is a very important question that I like to ask in all areas of life, but especially when I started reading. The only reason that I started reading is I had a huge ego at 19 years old, and I wanted to buy a Ferrari, I wanted to buy a Lamborghini, I wanted to live some ridiculously materialistic lifestyle, and the one and only Tai Lopez was the person who inspired me to start reading, because he said it was very important if you wanted to acquire a lifestyle like that. So I started reading, and because I had a ridiculous distortion to acquire an insane amount of material, and that was my purpose. But it drove me, and the purpose has obviously evolved. I'm no longer at all like that. But the question you need to ask yourself is, what are you optimizing for? Why do you want to read? Okay, very simple. And once you understand why you want to read, now you have purpose, okay? And that's what's going to actually push you to begin reading and enjoying the process of reading. Otherwise, I mean, if you're reading textbooks and you're in school and you don't like what you're doing in school, I can't really help you. I don't know why you would read something that you don't like reading about. That I cannot help you with. So if that's your case, well, I'm sorry. Number 2, eliminate portals of distraction. This is very simple. It's difficult to enjoy reading when you play video games, when you have Instagram on your phone and Facebook, and you're constantly checking social media and you're posting all the time and you're looking at who viewed your stories and who liked your post and who commented. This stuff gives you a lot of dopamine, and so you want to go through an intense dopamine cleanse. There's tons of videos on YouTube that talk about dopamine cleanses. This is very important because reading's pretty freaking boring, and there's not a lot of dopamine that comes out of opening a book. And I found this out pretty quickly that when I started reading, I was still addicted to video games at 19 years old. I was playing Dota 2. And it was difficult for me to just actually fully like and love reading, although I was still reading a little bit, 10, 20 minutes a day. But once I got rid of video games, which was a huge source of dopamine for my brain, then it was like the brain was like recalibrating. It's like, where can we get dopamine? Oh, books. We can get dopamine from books. And finishing a book gives you a tremendous amount of dopamine and a huge sense of accomplishment. And starting a new book gives you that dopamine as well. And progressing through a book in a quick period of time. So going through a dopamine cleanse, eliminating portals of distraction, get rid of social media for some time, get rid of video games, get rid of anything like smoking weed, doing drugs, get rid of these things that are giving you dopamine if you're doing them strictly for pleasure, and that will tremendously help you when it comes to enjoying the process of reading. Number 3, time block or inspiration. If you have a really busy schedule, I recommend you put some time in your calendar to read, ideally at a time that you would most likely enjoy the process of reading. If you don't have a tight schedule and you just are more of a butterfly and you're more of a creative type person, then potentially you would enjoy just reading whenever you feel inspired to read. But if you're on the inspiration side, then I recommend you leave the book that you want to read somewhere in the open right in front of you. Maybe put it on the desk right next to your bed or somewhere on the table so that you see it and it's always in your view, so that when that spark of inspiration hits, you'll actually pick up the book instead of doing something else. Number 4, build the habit and start small. Look, if you're new to reading, I recommend you just read a few pages a day for a week, and that's it. And then week 2, you can amp it up to 4 pages. Week 3, 5 pages. I like to open up a Google Sheet and track things. For example, this is really just you building a habit and building a routine. It's kind of like if you haven't worked out in a long time, you want to start going to the gym. it's freaking hard to get into a routine of going to the gym, but after 30 days straight, where 6 days a week you've gone to the gym, you're pretty much just on autopilot, and your brain doesn't have that crazy amount of stress that it feels in the first 1 to 2 weeks, where it's like, I don't want to go. That's kind of how it is with reading. So build the habit, start small. Number 5, always remember number 1. Again, all of these tips that I'm giving you are very important. They're very good. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a purpose, that's not really going to help you. And the purpose is what's most important. I don't care if you're reading for pleasure. If you're reading for pleasure and you really enjoy reading fictions, whatever, or just books that don't really help you per se, but they're just really enjoyable books to read, and that's like a movie for you, great. That can be your purpose, whatever it is. It's different for everybody. For me, as I told you, it was a very egotistical purpose. But always remember number 1, and understand that it's going to change over time. Obviously, for me, I transitioned from a super egotistical, insane amount of materialistic desire to I just really want to become the best version of myself, and I understand that learning from others is a part of that process, and it's an extremely important part of that process. So that was the transition for me, and realize that yours is probably going to change over time. Number 6, read somewhere comfy. I can't tell you, it's some people are like extreme readers and they'll read anywhere and everywhere, but when you're starting out, if you read somewhere comfy and you read somewhere enjoyable, like somewhere that has natural sunlight, somewhere that smells nice, you can light up an incense, and it's a comfy chair, this is going to help you, because if you don't read somewhere comfy, well, your brain's going to be like, but I don't like reading because I'm never comfy. So if you can get into a comfortable spot, it's going to help you build that positive feedback loop and get your brain optimizing for what this whole video is about, which is liking/loving reading. All right, hopefully these were 6 helpful tips. There's only one thing I ask for you to do to support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I've obviously read a lot of books. That background is enough social proof, hopefully, for you to believe these 6 tips that I'm giving you. Much love, you guys, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. This is a very different video. Normally I'm just talking about how to build an agency and scale your agency and systems and processes and culture, and this is a bit out there, so it's a very different video. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Much love. Ciao.